Hi everyone, this is Adam at the National Weather Service in San Diego, here just with an update as we look toward this week. We have increasing heat as well as thunderstorm chances as the monsoon pattern gets going here. So let's take a look, just what we're looking at here for the week. Increasing heat risk and the humidity will be on the rise, especially for inland areas as we go from Wednesday, and then especially peaking on Thursday into Friday will be the hottest portion of the week. That heat risk will be highest in the lower deserts, and then moderate to locally high heat risk will be for those other inland areas such as the high desert, mountains, and western valleys. The mountains and deserts will start to see storm chances around 20 to 50% each afternoon starting Thursday through at least early next week. So the pattern looks to stick around as we go into the end of August here. But just a reminder, if you're outside, if you're having to work outside, anything like that, you want to make sure you're safe in the heat. Never leave kids or pets unattended in the car. Look before you lock. Make sure if you're going outdoors, you're doing that earlier in the day or in the evening when avoiding that most intense part of the heat out there. The heat risk, so you'll start to see on Wednesday that rises to kind of that level 2, that orange area, as we go kind of into the Inland Empire and portions of the deserts here. We'll start seeing, anyone who's sensitive to heat or without effective cooling or adequate hydration may see some issues as we warm it up here. And then as we take a look into Thursday and Friday, you can see some of that red starts to make an appearance. So this really affects, anyone who doesn't have AC, isn't hydrating properly. And you can see that across the lower deserts and even portions of the valleys west of the mountains as well. So we're going to see some warmer temperatures here as we go toward later in the week. There are the high temperatures on Wednesday. We start to warm it up a little bit. The triple digits start to make an appearance across the high desert and the Inland Empire. 80s and 90s as well, and some of those inland valleys in San Diego and Orange County. And then by Thursday and Friday, very similar here, temperature-wise, around 5 to 10 degrees above normal. But as you can see, 110 plus for the lower deserts, plus that humidity that I mentioned before. So it's going to feel a bit hot out there, especially as we get toward the lower deserts and the mountainous areas in the 80s and 90s. And then you can see highs near 100 in places like Ramona, Tecate, Campo areas as well. Going to be pretty hot too. Inland Orange County as well, up into the 90s. And then about the monsoon thunderstorms, we're going to start that pattern around Thursday, and that's going to lead to that increased humidity, especially the deserts. Mountain and desert areas are going to see chances right around 20 to 50% each afternoon, starting on Thursday through at least early next week. So we're going to have that stick around for a little bit here. Friday into the weekend, there is a slight chance that a storm or two may move west of the mountains into the Inland Empire, even could drift to the coast there in San Diego. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, keep an eye on the forecast as we go through the week here, but we may see a storm or two drift west for sure. But as you can see, the last point there, the confidence is still low on how much rain we actually get and where it exactly falls and how far kind of west those storms drift over the mountains if they do. But that confidence will start to increase as we go closer to the event. And here you can see the chances for precipitation again on Thursday. That's when it begins, right around 10 to 20% chance, mainly across the mountains and then into the deserts. And then Friday into the weekend, we increase that chance over those regions, and a slight chance there, very small chance, right around 10% for some of those areas west of the mountains if a storm decides to drift west. So we will keep an eye on that, but it looks like the pattern has finally changed here later in the summer. And then taking a look at the precipitation outlook, the chances for above or below normal precipitation, as you can see, we're right around 50 to 60% chance that the Climate Prediction Center is leaning above normal in precipitation as we go into this weekend and into early next week, middle of next week. So kind of this pattern may stick around for a little bit as we get into the end of August. And then it looks like those high temperatures peak on Thursday and Friday of this week, We'll cool it down slightly for the weekend and into early next week, and it looks like that pattern of near to slightly above normal will stick around as we go into next week. All right, that's it for us. Thanks again, and we hope you have a great week.